mostly poverty, education, all these things. And I thought, you know what? I need to go to Washington to change things so that we can stop putting people in prison instead of educating people. So that's how this got started. I got tired of handling these issues one mental health crisis at a time. One of the reasons that I believe that I will be a great senator for the state of Indiana is because I am a psychologist. I'm used to listening. I'm used to getting feedback. I'm used to basically actually working in prisons. I've learned that listening and respecting other people actually will save your life. So when I got into this, I thought, okay, I can change things. And not only that, I thought, what right did I have not to go back to try to change things? I was blessed. I came from a lower income neighborhood, and I managed to just step over all these little mines, these landmines that other people weren't able to step over. That's what you call grace. So given the grace, what right did I have not to go back and try to do something to help our communities? One of the things about working in prisons, they're in these little small towns. They're in Wabash, they're in Carlisle, they're in Richmond. So I also got to learn these communities all around Indiana. And I love the people in all the communities, especially the rural communities. And we all had stuff in common. We all had a lot in common. And the one thing we had in common is a respect for human decency, a respect for human rights. And I don't care how we want to express those human rights, we have that core that connects us all. Another thing that connects us all, which is important to me, is mental health. Every last one of us has one person at least that they're either afraid for or afraid of. And because we have these things in common, that's a conversation we can have because a lot of our people are hurting in one way or the other. And we need someone in Washington to go forward and represent us, all of us.
Thank you, Dr. McCray, for those comments. You will see behind you, and you should have received them beforehand, are the questions that we would like for you to answer tonight. You have 3 minutes to answer those questions.
If elected, will you work to represent the various views? Absolutely. The thing about it is I kind of thrive on different views. I'm one of these people that when I'm wrong or if I find out new information, I get excited. I like leaving a room, finding something that I didn't know. And going around to my constituents and finding out exactly what they need in their communities, because every community is a little bit different. Hancock is different from Hendricks, is different from Danville, is different from this area, is different from Gary. And if I don't listen, I will miss what's going on in your community. I will miss the fact that Evansville is getting ready to raise their energy prices by $45. For the seniors, $45 is a lot of money to have to pay every month, considering that everything else has went up. So listening to my constituents, listening to my community, that's what I'm supposed to do. That's my job. And I won't mess up on that, trust me.
So if you would like to go ahead and give us some closing remarks about how you will serve us in the U.S. Senate.
We have a gap in communication. We have a gap in how we talk to each other. We have a gap in understanding. There's a lot of anger. There's a lot of pain. There's a lot of critical things that we're thinking, and we're almost to the point where we're hating each other. I don't know if we can bridge that gap, but I know if there's one person who can do it, it's a psychologist. It's someone like me who's been there, who knows how to listen and knows how to find a consensus and knows how to find a common thread and figure out how our hearts beat the same. And then come together and find reasonable solutions. There's solutions to gun control. There's solutions to farming. There's solutions to our debates on health care. There's our solutions to whether or not, women have rights or not. We do agree that our privacy is important. We do agree that human rights are important. Let's figure out what we agree on and work towards finding reasonable solutions and know that we can all love each other again. We absolutely can love each other. I'm Dr. Valerie McCray, and I'm running for U.S. Senate 2024, and I hope to have your support.
Thank you so much, Dr. McCray. Dr. McCray will be running for U.S. Senate. Remember to get out and vote on May 7th. So, Sherri, if you could start us off tonight just introducing yourself. You have 3 minutes.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for taking the time out of your evening to join and meet your candidates. My name is Sherri Spurlock. For the first 19 years, I grew up on a small hog farm just 1 mile north of here. I graduated from Danville. Community High School along with my twin brother. I reside in Danville where I raised my 3 beautiful daughters. My youngest is graduating this year, so she's leaving me to be an empty nester. So I feel like this is the perfect time to dedicate myself and to become your next auditor. Some of you may know me from different kinds of sports, coaching softball, basketball, volleyball. Others may have seen me over the last 40 years at the Hendricks County Fair. This has led me to a long relationship with livestock and volunteering for other youth communities. This is what, as a 10-year 4-H member, my proudest moment was winning the Washington Citizen Focusship Award. Being able to serve on the Hendricks County Fair Board and Youth Council has given me the opportunity to see firsthand how much dedication and time it takes to prepare for a big event. Thank you.
So thank you so much. Let's try your mic and see how it goes.
Check, check, check. Hello, hello, hello. Can you hear me? Hi, my name is Ann Stark. I am currently the payroll administrator for Hendricks County, and I am running for Hendricks County Auditor. I am a wife and a mother. I have been married to my husband Daniel for 16 years, and we have 3 children in elementary and middle school. We live in the top corner of the county off 56th Street. We attend church and Bible study at Connection Point. I was originally born here in Indianapolis, but moved around and was living out west when I met my husband. To be near his family, however, we traveled to snowy Buffalo, New York. After 7 long years there, my husband decided that he had an opportunity here he couldn't resist, and now he owns his own insurance agency here, and that is what brought us back to Hendricks County. Now, while my children were young, I was a stay-at-home mom of 3 children under 3 years old, and during that time, I also earned my bachelor's degree in human services management. I couldn't see it at the time, but God was preparing me for this journey. During that time, he sharpened my ability to multitask. He tested my flexibility and patience, and I was able to master time management, which anyone who has kids understands. Coincidentally, I believe that these traits are also good for an auditor. Shortly after we moved back here, I took a job in the auditor's office. A lot has happened over the last 6 years since we've moved here. I have seen new neighborhoods sprout up. I've seen roads revamped. I've seen business parks build and employ hundreds of people. And I've seen at least 3 new McDonald's pop up. Even the Hendricks Community Soccer League that our children are involved in has grown exponentially. I can tell just since we've moved here that Hendricks County is growing and flourishing. And it just isn't the county that's growing, it has me growing as well. In the auditor's office, I started at entry level, and I was like a sponge soaking up information. I stepped up to a financial payroll position, took a promotion to cartography, and then 2 years later accepted the position I am in now as payroll administrator. I want to be part of that continued growth in this county. I believe that my disposition, my education, and my passion for the job will make me capable of doing so. That is why I'd like your vote for Hendricks County Auditor.
Thank you so much, Ann. Am I live? Okay. All right. So, Ann, you will follow up and answer the questions. They are up behind you, or also you guys received these questions beforehand. You have 3 minutes to answer those questions.
All right, I'm going to start with the transparency in managing all public finances. I believe is expected and required for an auditor to be transparent. I will do this by performing my duties and running my office with the utmost integrity. I will do this by generating accurate and timely reports without bias, by complying with all mandated standards and regulations set by the state, by using Gateway and our county website to publish this information. When I find errors, I will work diligently to correct them, to educate whoever made them, and confirm that no fraud has been found. I will hold the council and the commissioners accountable to the choices that they make regarding the spending of county money, and I won't hesitate to advise them when necessary. I want to keep open lines of communication between the county and town leaders so that there is no misrepresentation of our goal. I will require those in my office to also work with integrity and professionalism in the office and out. If I win, there will still be a lot to learn, I admit, but I commit to educating myself and pushing my team because I want us to be held to the highest standards. As far as what strategies I would employ to educate county employees on claims and budget management, I will require my department to take continued education through webinars and available conferences so that they are knowledgeable in their area of work and also be able to explain it to those who aren't. The Department of Local Government Finance has monthly webinars that I think will accomplish this. I also would like to provide literature regarding better practices to my staff as they come to me from the DLGF or other counties. I will contact other counties to verify their county practices and see if some of their methods might work better than ours. The benefit of electing me is that I currently work with our financial team. They trust me and I trust them. I would ask them to draft training procedures regarding claims processes and schedule training with any new employees to ensure competency. There are training classes available to educate department heads on managing their budgets, and I would continue that training and schedule individual meetings as necessary. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ann. To my audience, the reason why it's so important that they have mics is because we are live streaming it. So if we don't have a live mic, they cannot hear it at home. So forgive us as we're trying to work with that. Thank you so much, Ann. Sherri, I would like for you now to take the opportunity to answer those questions.
I'd like to apologize since Ann and I both work for the auditor's office. You're going to hear probably some repetitiveness, so I do apologize. Question number one, my qualifications. My qualifications started at Indiana State University, where I majored in business. After that, I worked for Huntington National Bank as a teller. Then I eventually moved up to assistant branch manager at North Salem State Bank. After that, I started helping my family with businesses and as property manager for several years. I have worked for the auditor's office for the last 7 years. I enjoy my current position as the cartographer, creating splits, parcels, and updating maps with the county and using GIS and other tools such as Beacon. I spend a lot of time researching deeds and reading legal descriptions. And because of this, I have to work closely with attorneys, surveyors, recorders, and the engineers. So I believe having over 25 years experience in finance and real estate has given me the qualifications for this position. And then my transparency. Everything done in the auditor's office is public information. This can be found locally through the newspaper, on the county and state website. And as a homeowner myself in this county, I want to ensure that my tax dollars are being used in the best possible way. And I would think and hope that most taxpayers would feel the same way. And strategies that I would use, hopefully in the office. My first one is holding all 38 department heads responsible for their own budgets. I think they should be able to turn their claims in on time to the finance department in a timely fashion. We all pay our bills and we expect them to pay our bills and keep us on time. And third, I feel continuing ed. I believe that technology is always changing, and we also need to educate and keep everybody up to date. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sherri. You will be next giving your closing statements. You have 3 minutes for closing statements, and then Ann, you will have 3 minutes to do your closing statements.
The most popular question throughout this campaign is, why am I running? The answer for that question is very simple. I'm running because I was born and raised here. I raised my family here. I have watched this county grow and develop. I take a lot of pride knowing we are in the top 3 counties. We're in the top 3. We are the top 3 counties to live in this state. I want to lead this county with diversity, transparency, and hope. And we do not grow too quickly. Finally, I want to thank the Hendricks County Community Foundation for organizing this event. A big thanks to my friend and family for helping me through this campaign, and Nancy Marsh for being a great role model. Thanks, and now it's your turn to go out and make a difference and vote on May 7th.
So much. All right, Ann, it is your time for closing remarks.
I want to close by addressing my qualifications that make me suitable for this position. I believe the auditor position needs someone who is dedicated to the work, who is educated, who loves it, and has experience in all facets of the job. 6 years is all it took for me to fall in love with this job. I started as a property deduction deputy. In this, I learned how deductions affect your property tax bills, how capping benefits you, how and when rates are calculated, and how to translate that information to a taxpayer. I worked in cartography, where I learned the ins and outs of transferring property ownership, splitting property, and mapping it all online. I worked as a financial payroll deputy, where I learned how to pay claims, how to complete the payroll process, how to generate receipts, how to file 1099s and W-2s and assist with county grants. Now for the past 2 years, I have worked as a payroll administrator. I have over 530 employees on my payroll right now. This job has given me insight into funds, accounts, appropriations, as well as budget projections. Last summer, I also had the opportunity to work on the 2023 audit team with the State Board of Accounts. My direct supervisor is the financial administrator for the county, and as such, I have quick access to knowledge on how to thoroughly examine where money is spent and how it is funded. And it's not just my experience that makes me qualified. My personality suits this job as well. My personality is quick to listen and slow to anger. My skills in multitasking and flexibility, patience, and time management also play a part here. I love working with numbers, completing a list of tasks, and being a part of a team. I soak up all information regarding my job because I want it to be excellent. I also have the leadership experience needed to run an office and manage a team. In the 2000s, I led a youth group with my husband. I led a worship team. I planned and executed church-wide events, and I sat on the board of directors for our church in California. This leadership experience makes me comfortable to sit at a table with councilmen or taxpayers and speak with confidence, as well as lead an office of people with authority. I believe all of who I am, my disposition, experience, and passion will make me an excellent auditor. I am Ann Stark. I am a wife. I am a mother. And I ask you to please vote on May 7th to make me your auditor. Thank you.
Thank you both, Sherri Spurlock and Ann Stark, who are both running for Hendricks County Auditor. And we also already appreciate your commitment that you have given to our county and the office. Thank you both. So we will be starting next with our council members. If you guys will come on up and go ahead and get your mics, and we'll get you ready to go. Larry Hesson, Nancy Marsh, and David Wyeth. We will start with you, actually, Larry, that you will introduce yourself, and then it will go on to Nancy, and then David, you will be last.
Let me adjust my mic here.
Speak and see if you hear.
Can you hear me? Oh, can you hear me?
I think it's on the off side. Let's go this way. Try that, Larry.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Is that better?
Nope. I am not muted. Oh. Okay. I'm Larry Hesson, and I want to thank the foundation and the Republican and Democratic parties for this opportunity. We don't have a large crowd, which is not unusual for these events, but for those of you who are here, it's an opportunity that you would not otherwise have. I'm running for county council at large, and just to explain, there are 7 members in the county council. 3 at large and 4 are elected by district, and this is the year the at-large offices are filled. I live in Plainfield with my wife, Madeline, who's here. Been there for a number of years. We have 3 children, twin daughters, Elise Smith, her husband, Chad, and Leanne McClure, her husband, Mark, and our son, Brett, and his wife, Ashley. We have 8 grandchildren, all of whom have attended Plainfield schools. I am a retired lawyer. I'm a former judge. I'm running for re-election. This is not my first rodeo, as they say. I've had the privilege of serving with some wonderful members of the county council over the years. I'm always surprised and appreciative at the quality of candidates that we've had for county council. And they've been wonderful to work with. Dave Wyeth is one of them. And so it's been an honor. I am, as I say, a retired lawyer. I attended Indiana University and its law school. I also have been honored to serve with the Association of Indiana Counties. I've been honored to be president of that organization, and I serve in the board of directors at this time. I also have served as president of the Indiana County Councils Association, and I've served as president there for several years. I'm on the board of directors of the Indiana Regional Transportation Authority. I'm a past delegate to the National Association of Counties. I'm on the board of directors of the Hendricks College Network. I was selected as an outstanding Indiana County Council member in the past. I've been the past president of the Bar Association. I'm on the Hendricks County Community Corrections Advisory Board, and I'm a member of the Plainfield.
Larry, thank you so much for your comments. I'm going to go ahead and stop you. You're at the 3-minute mark. Nancy, you now have 3 minutes to tell us about yourself.
First, I want to say that I am a proud mama because those 2 girls are from my office. I'm Nancy Marsh. I currently serve as the Hendricks County Auditor. I began my career in public service as being caucused in as Middle Township Trustee Assessor about 5 minutes after a 10-year reassessment went out. So I've always had a lot of challenges. With that job, I was also in charge of the fire department, which is a big job. In 2000, I was elected as Hendricks County Auditor. Did 2 terms, followed that as 2 terms of treasurer, and then I decided, maybe wise, not wise, to run again for auditor. So I am terming out on my 4th term as Hendricks County Auditor. With that job, it's a massive beast job. I mainly deal with property taxes, which if you listen to the radio, that's what everybody cares the most about. And I have become what I would call almost an expert on property taxes, budgets, levies. I work closely with the county council and have for my entire career. So I think sometimes I was even lovingly called, maybe not lovingly, the 8th council member. So I am well prepared to take on the council job. I grew up in Brownsburg. I attended, most of my married life has been in Pittsburgh, and we've lived at Danville for 17 years. When I started, I had no grandchildren. Now I have 4 grandchildren, and the oldest one's 20 years old. So my grandchildren go along with my career. I have gained a lot of knowledge and experience about Hendricks County, and I've always worked tirelessly to learn about everything I've been given. I have become a resource for the legislature, the DLGF, the State Board of Accounts, because of my long history with my jobs. I was nominated by the Board of Accounts and was awarded the Outstanding Service in Local Government Award in 2019, and have been honored to receive the Arthur Hempsel Award for my dedication in serving in Hendricks County government in Indiana. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nancy. David, you now have 3 minutes.
Well, thank you very much, and it's a great evening here to be here at a great facility we ought to be proud of here at Hendricks County. Thanks for the Community Foundation for putting this event together. I think in years past, we've done this before at the high school with a former government teacher, and that's always been a great privilege to have that opportunity. Well, I'm Dave Wyeth, and I'm seeking re-election to the County Council at large. I'm one of a few people in Hendricks County. I'm a farmer. Born and raised here in Hendricks County. I've only moved twice in my lifetime, and that was from the hospital to my parents' home to where I live today. My family's been here since 1919 on a farm that my great-grandfather began with. At the age of 16, or 15 actually, I bought my first farm when I was a sophomore in high school at Danville High School. So at a young age, as Nancy just said about property taxes, my junior and senior year at high school, I was paying property taxes. Today, that farm includes many acres in Eel River, Union, and Marion Township, as well as in Boone and Putnam counties. So I understand exactly what we're talking about when we talk about taxes. You'll find that I'm a person that's got a sharp pencil, but with a common sense approach. Business-minded, always first. I've had the opportunity, and I see 2 candidates out here, actually, not 2 candidates, but 2 people that's been a part of the Hendricks County Leadership Program. I was one of the most fortunate people to assist with Mr. Dietz and Ms. Wicker back here. First class of Leadership Hendricks County, 1993. That's been a few years ago. I also had a great opportunity to be a part of the Ag Leadership Program, which is a 2-year program that takes a 2-year commitment, travel around the state to understand exactly what agriculture, business, government works with. Spent 1 week in Washington, D.C., understanding what bad government is. Spent 2 weeks abroad. 1 week was in Africa, 1 week was in the Belgium and Netherlands and France. I would have to say that one of the greatest things about serving the county council is serving you, serving the people. That's what's the most important thing for me. And by me being a farmer, I'm very well invested here in the county. I would love to continue that. I want to leave a legacy. That's my goal. Thank you.
Thank you so much, David. Thank you to all of you for introducing yourselves. All right, we will now move on into the question portion of our program. Nancy, you will go first. You were given the questions beforehand, but if you need them, they are behind you on the screen.
I have my answers written down, so I won't look back there. As a member of the county council, I would continue to work hard for the people of Hendricks County. I'm a tireless worker. I lead by example. I come to work every morning maybe first person and last person out. I've done that for 20 years. I believe in making the best decisions we can with the information we have available. Sometimes you get stung by maybe not having all the information, but we should always try to achieve all the information to make your good decisions. I've always treated every taxpayer of citizens of Hendricks County with honesty, dignity, and compassion, and I will continue to do that. Thank you. Oh, I need to do the second one also.
You have still time left, so it's up to you. Yes.
The special tax districts is an interesting one. I've just been working on TIFs and abatements. My office manages those. I think you'll be shocked to find out we have 62 TIF districts in Hendricks County. They are not county TIF districts. 7 of them are county TIF districts. The remaining are approved and created by your towns. So even if it has the name Hendricks County tied to it, the Hendricks County Commissioners, Redevelopment Commission, County Council have not started 62 TIF districts. We have 5 left. We retired 2, as you should. They shouldn't be continued. You should retire them when they're done. We had 2, Pittsburgh Steel Mill and Hartford Crossing. We have $2,646,075,532 value in TIF districts, which generates $59,160,689 in revenue for the TIF infrastructure. So I believe we need to make, and council's not involved in TIFs whatsoever, make really thoughtful, thorough investigations on whether the TIF is necessary, because you're taking that revenue from your local units of government, your towns, townships, schools, libraries. We also have 145 abatements. Those are not all Hendricks County abatements. Those are the town's abatements also. We have Hendricks County Council approves abatements. We have 14. And they're all in the unincorporated area, which happens to be Liberty Township right now with the warehouse development. So I have struggled with TIFs and abatements many years because I was township trustee when the steel mill came in. And it was tough to lose the revenue for the fire department. It's really tough. So it requires a lot of thinking and studying.
Nancy, thank you so much for your remarks. I'm going to cut you off. Your 3 minutes are up.
Okay.
David, you are next. You have 3 minutes to answer the questions.
Sure. With number 1, something I think was really great that we did as a council, in collaboration with the commissioners, was the ARPA funds. That was the American Rescue Plan Act that was set aside by the current administration of Washington, D.C. Hendricks County received just shy of $33 million with that. And we put together a committee. Mr. Dawes, commissioner, was that. Nancy was part of that. And the late Kendall Hendricks, former councilman, was a part of that. Sheriff Clark was part of that. It was probably half a dozen people, if I'm not mistaken. And one of the things that they did is they took part of that and said, let's take 10% of that and let's give that back to our nonprofits. And that was a great program because that hit Sheltering Wings, that hit some food pantries, that hit the fairgrounds. Everybody got a little piece of that. And that was sort of something that happened during COVID, and hopefully now we can put that behind us and we can move on. But also when you look about our diverse population, you're looking at a county here in the last 40 years that's been growing at a rate of 50 to 100 new residents a week. Now it's not every week, but you look and see, and we grow anywhere from 2,000 to 5,000 people every year. And that's a huge amount of growth. And when you talk about diversity, Plainfield, I believe, and Avon schools has 70 different languages spoken in the schools. How do you adopt to that? How do you adapt to that? And not only is that in our schools, but then that goes all the way down from prosecutor, probation, jails, sheriff's department. Everybody has got to learn how do we get along with everybody. When it comes to the tax abatements, as I'm a farmer, tax abatements are one of those things that's a tool. It can be a very expensive tool. Let me give you an example. 2 years ago, what happened in Plainfield with the Walmart? Had a big fire. Within days after that fire, I think Nikki Lawson will tell you that they called the assessor and said, we want to take the building off the tax rolls. What did Walmart do? They relocated. Now that's sort of an oddity that will happen, but it can happen. You can have anything from a windstorm, a tornado, or a fire that can absolutely devastate something like that, that now you look for, where's these 1,100 people going to go work? Another abatement that I did not approve was one with the solar farm, just north of town here a little ways. They put the solar on a farm that was probably not very productive, but it was probably good to put it in solar. That power goes onto the grid of Hendricks Power. Well, I did not approve that abatement, and here's why. Because Hendricks Power serves people outside of Hendricks County. But Duke serves people inside of Hendricks County. So for people who play for Duke Power will not reap any benefit from that. And I don't think that's fair when it was about $16, $17 million of an abatement giving for that solar farm. It should be fair across the board for everybody.
Thank you for your comments, David. Your time is up. Larry, you have 3 minutes to answer the questions.
Thank you. The first question, I think what we as a council and we as county government have as a goal, a concerted effort to make this county a good place to live. And we do that by improving infrastructure. I think our roads are probably the best of maybe in the state, countywide. It's an attractive place to live. Dave was talking about the growth in population. That's due in no small part to the goal that we've had and we've followed through on to make improvements in the county. This fairgrounds that we're on right now, it's a goal, or it's not a goal, it's an ideal for many counties in the state. We've had visitors from all over the state come to look at this. Our new jail, we've had visitors to come to the new jail from all over the country. And it's all part of the plan. We as a council work with the county commissioners. They are in charge, they're the executive body, we're the fiscal body. So if they have a project, we work together and we come up with the funds to do the project as best we can. The special tax district, as Nancy has pointed out, we don't do the TIF districts, tax increment financing is what it's called. That's the towns. There may be a need, but I don't know whether there's a need. That's left to the towns. And as far as the tax abatements, that can be good. What it is an inducement to have employers come to our county. They get an opportunity to reduce their tax burden, usually for 10 years. It's graduated, so it's not free. They pay a portion of their tax each year until it's back to 100%. The ground on which they build is still taxed at the same rate as any other property. So we're not losing money in that respect. We just don't have the new tax money from the improvements as quickly as we might otherwise have. So again, that's on a case-by-case basis. And I think we've been diligent as a council in looking at these requests for abatements. I think the ones that we've given, by and large, have been successful, and I think we've done a good job.
Thank you so much, Larry. We will now end with closing remarks. David, you will start off our closing remarks. You have 3 minutes.
Sure, thank you. Well, it's a great event. Again, thank you all for showing up. Some people ask, why do you want to run for office? And I think one of the big things is you get encouraged by somebody. And I was encouraged by the former council member, Dick Thompson. Many people here know Dick Thompson. I served as a page for Dick Thompson back years ago in both chambers of the Senate and the House. He reached out to me and said, Dave, I want you to consider running for council. I'm going to give it up. We need somebody on the west side of the county. We need somebody in agriculture. That's when you realize that your calling has come. You realize that somebody at that level of leadership and education who's been involved in politics recognizes somebody who can fill the job. And I took that. And it's been a great pleasure serving people here in Hendricks County. It will continue to be my ultimate passion to make sure we do the best that we can, because this is about trying to make things fair for everybody. Taxpayers, our employees. You heard Ann talk about 530 employees. We're not a small business. We got over $100 million budget. We got a big business to run. This is a big ship. And I think it's a privilege for us to have the opportunity to live here in Hendricks County, as Larry and Nancy both talked about. We feel blessed, and we need to continue to feel blessed. So again, thank you very much. Get out for May 7th. I ask for your vote. Thank you.
Thank you, David. All right, Larry, you will be giving 3 minutes to give your closing remarks now.
Thank you. I agree with what's been said by both of the other candidates who are present. We've been very fortunate. I am running for re-election. I've served for a number of years. It's been a valuable experience, and I hope I bring to the job knowledge, experience that has been valuable and will be valuable. I couldn't be prouder of the elected office holders, not just the council, but the elected office holders in this county. I'll compare them to any group of county office holders in the state. Just uniformly high-quality folks who are competent and dedicated, and it makes it easy to be a council member when you have folks like that to work with. And I've thought about this. This is not my first election for county council. Had some wonderfully qualified people who've run in the past, and I sometimes marvel at how I've been able to be elected when some of these folks have resumes that are just outstanding. But I want to say that among all those who've run for county council, there's been no one who's been so qualified as Nancy Marsh. Nancy, if you don't know it, the auditor's office is the heart of county government as far as finance. And Nancy is, she is, I think, the best auditor in the state of Indiana. And she's made our job as county council members easy. We have the information to work with, and hate to lose her as auditor, but looking forward to working with her on the county council. So I'd like to have your vote, and like to serve you for another term.
Thank you so much, Larry. All right, Nancy, you now have 3 minutes for your closing remarks.
As I want to thank Eric and William and the rest of the Community Foundation who have put this together, and the there's William, and the Republican. It's a great event. I've been to many of these, as Larry and Dave probably have, but it seems attendance isn't great, but the word gets out. So as Larry mentioned, I've worked with the council since 2001. I came in after an auditor had kind of abandoned the job. So I embraced the job as being the auditor, and I worked tirelessly ever since. I don't think I work one moment less today than I did 20 years ago. I am tired, but I really put the effort into it. I believe I have something to offer, and I think my expertise and everything I've learned by my various offices, and particularly budget, tax levies, property taxes, and fund accounting is my specialty. So I do think I have something to offer, and I'd ask for your vote. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nancy. Thank you to all of our candidates who are running for Hendricks County Council, and thank you for your current service that you're already giving to our community. We appreciate you all, and good luck on May 7th. Thank you. I now ask for my U.S. representatives who are here tonight to come forward, and let's get you guys mic'd for the next portion. All right, ladies and gentlemen, up next we will have our Republican candidates for U.S. Representative. Welcoming to the stage, Charles Bookwalter and John Piper. Again, they will each have 3 minutes to introduce themselves, answer questions, and then give closing statements. We will start off with Charles, who will be doing the opening statements. You have 3 minutes.
Check, check.
Yeah.
Check. Radio check.
I am a heavy breather. Oh, sorry.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for your time. By a show of hands, who believes the federal government has too little authority right now? No hands up. Now, by a show of hands, who believes we're currently witnessing the biggest federal government overreach in our nation's history? That's right. And if you feel like you've been over-legislated and underrepresented, raise your hand and keep that hand up. Your raised hands are exactly why I am running for Congress. As an American citizen, we have all witnessed an alarming power grab at the top of our federal government, from an out-of-control Department of Justice and FBI to the ATF, IRS, and the EPA. From the weaponization of the DOJ and the FBI against President Trump to the EPA determining how and what you can use to cook your food, your meals, how you can and cannot farm your own farmland. This is an unconstitutional government overreach by the federal government, and it must be stopped. Over the last 4 years, we've seen lockdowns and mandates. We've seen our fellow citizens arrested, imprisoned, and called threats to democracy for simply exercising their God-given constitutional rights. Is this the America that you want to leave for your children and grandchildren? Is this even the America that you recognize that your parents and grandparents bequeathed to you? As a former Green Beret and Bronze Star recipient with 2 combat deployments, I'm all too aware of the horrors of these forever wars our nation have been fighting our entire lives. And some of you are older than I am, and we're there for the war to end all wars. And our current leadership and foreign policy experts have the U.S. on the brink of another war, 2 wars, in fact, on the other side of the planet. These wars will never end, and my opponent is in full support of these proxy wars. As a small business owner, I've personally witnessed the destruction of the American workforce over the last 4 years, and more importantly, an organized attack on the American work ethic. And who can blame them? With nearly 55 cents out of every one of our dollars going to pay taxes before we are able to take it home and spend it on our own homes, taking care of our own families. And what measures have my opponent taken to remedy these issues? None. He has made government bigger. We must expect more from our representatives, a lot more. And that's what I plan to deliver. Out of control inflation, out of control corruption, and out of control crime is now the status quo. And my opponent's solution is more government and more bureaucracy. And what is my solution? My solution, which I'll get into a little bit later, is true and proven conservative leadership.
Thank you so much, Charles. John, you now have 3 minutes to introduce yourself.
First, I'm going to vote for him. That was great. He didn't mean me as his opponent. He's talking about Jim Baird, correct?
That's correct.
All right.
That's correct, John.
We've met, we've talked, we share a lot of the same beliefs. I'm John Piper. I'm running for Congress. Since 2009, I have been fighting in Indiana. We have closed 2 major sex and drug trafficking operations, fully funded, fully protected by the FBI and Mike Pence. You go to my website, you'll see it. Everybody in the world wants to know, how come Mike Pence won't sue me? Because the second Pence tries to sue me, there'll be depositions, discovery, polygraphs. I've been to the FBI headquarters twice at the FBI's request, and they have thrown me out both times. My wife said to me, Dr. Anna Piper, we own Angel Animal Hospital, one of the largest animal hospitals in the state. We have tried to hire every veterinarian we can. Everybody knows the veterinarian scandal at Purdue. Purdue is selling half of our seats to out-of-state corporations. Indiana is now 600 veterinarians short. Everybody has gone down and seen I-69. They moved the highway 300 yards out of the cornfield right in front of my hospital, put up a 30-foot wall, blocked 2 major exits in front of my hospital so that no one can get to it. In the meantime, St. Franciscan Hospital invested $10 million to build one of their largest facilities right there on Fairview Road, just north of my hospital. Eric Hokum shut them down, pulled all their permits because he closed their exits, which were my exits. So why am I running for Congress? He's 100% right. The corruption that we have here in Indiana is beyond belief. We deal at my hospital with K-9 units from the DEA, from the FBI, and from the Border Patrol. You'd be surprised how many Border Patrol agents live in Indiana and do rotations down to the border. One of the worst things ever said to me was kind of a positive thing. We've saved 300 children's lives with the sex trafficking operations that we closed. A DEA agent came to my hospital, pulled me outside the front door, and he said, John, you're kind of wrong. I said, what do you mean I'm kind of wrong? He goes, you only know 10% of the problem. So towards the end, I will get into our Senator Mike Young, what he confided when I was at Charles' table on Tuesday night. We were all here Tuesday night. What he said, what's going on at the Plainfield Mosque. Why I want to run for Congress? We are going to correct the Purdue situation. People don't realize, well, it's just veterinarians. You can't have scrambled eggs, a ham sandwich, a hamburger without a veterinarian. We are now 40% deficient in the veterinarian field. The hardest curriculum in all America to get into is veterinary medicine. Indiana is 600 veterinarians short. It takes weeks to get in. In Indiana, we have at least 26,000 family pets die every single year because Mike Pence, Eric Holcomb, Mitch Daniels are selling half of the seats at Purdue Vet School to the World Economic Forum. They're selling them out of the country. People say, how is it possible? Purdue only
John, thank
graduated-
you. I'm going to, as we said, I told you I'd cut you off.
Okay.
You went over.
We'll get to
So
that
thank you
at
for
the
those
very end.
comments. I'm going to move on next into answering questions. And John, you will actually go first in this portion of the program so that you were sent the questions before, but they're also behind you should you need them.
I'm going to feed you. First question, how am I going to help my constituents? With 40% deficiency in veterinarians, you are now looking at massive food shortages. I have all the evidence. One of the wonderful young ladies said, who's running for the Senate, came over and she goes, where's the evidence? I said, look at the board. Tucker Carlson got fired. The last story Tucker Carlson had was that 58 million chickens were euthanized. We just found out that over 6 people have died from listeria, 24 are fighting for their lives in hospitals. That means there were no veterinarians to take care of the cattle. It's a dairy problem with that. We had 2 million pounds of ground beef recalled for E. coli last year. And we have just learned on Laura Ingram's show that we are 1, ready for this, billion pounds of beef short this time compared to this time last year. So Laura Ingram, 60 Minutes, USA Today, on the front page of their paper. Glenn Beck, everybody's talking about this massive food shortage. I can't say his name, but one of the biggest executives for grocery chains in America is my client. Pulled me aside, saw my website. He said, you're absolutely right. He goes, whether it's Aldi's, whether it's Kroger's, Myers, Walmart, the government is restricting food distribution to everybody to 63% of what the stores can have. You want to know why we have food deserts in the inner city? Because the black people aren't allowed to have grocery stores. It's not because they're going to ripe them, burn them down. Absolutely not. There's not enough food being stored. We just learned from one of my campaign helpers, another massive chicken farm was burned to the ground yesterday. The government is rationing our food and the government is limiting the amount of veterinarians. 23 states in America do not have doctoral veterinary programs. It is the biggest crisis in the world today. It's an antitrust violation. Right now, if you own the largest veterinarian chain, which the Marsh Corporation does with 2,200 animal hospitals, you are not allowed to go out and buy the world's largest food manufacturer for animals, Royal Canin, but they did. Then they broke antitrust laws and they bought the world's largest laboratory for urine, fecal, tumor analysis. The Marsh Corporation, which is the World Economic Forum, which Mike Pence is part of, Eric Holcomb, and Jim Baird. By the way, show of hands, how many people know Jim Baird is a doctor? He's got his PhD in animal science. Jim Baird has been working behind the scenes for 30 years selling your Purdue graduates to the World Economic Forum corporations. How many people knew that? I have been politely 4 times to his office to talk to him. Jim Baird has refused 4 times to meet with me, debate me, just answer questions. We're very kind, we're very polite. By the way, how many people, and this is sad, know that Jim Baird's terminally ill? He was given a diagnosis of 18 months in December. He's now down to 14 months. Why is he running for office? He can barely walk, he can barely talk, he can barely breathe. He's got heart disease. He's 80 years old. He shouldn't be representing us, he can't. And now we found out, I shouldn't be here, by the way. Craig Haggard, our state rep, was
John, I'm
supposed
going to go ahead and cut you off. You're at your 3-minute mark.
I'll get to that in a minute.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, Charles, you have 3 minutes to answer the questions.
There's not a lot of time, so I got to speak quickly. I appreciate your flexibility here. I have 2 powerful forces that guide me on a daily basis, my faith and the Constitution. I think it's also important to mention that other than working to ensure the medical freedoms and liberties of all Americans, I don't have a legislative agenda. I have no desire to author legislation that strips Americans of their rights and freedoms and burdens them with more and more regulations and taxes. I will join those in DC right now, already fighting these issues, that have already put in the hard work to stop the overreach of these federal agencies. I will represent the views and concerns of everyone equally, regardless of who they are, where they come from, etc., based solely on the two forces that guide me, my faith and the Constitution. I will suggest that we need leaders that live and regulate their lives by the things like love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control, particularly self-control. Against such things, there is no law. It's plain to see that far too many of our so-called representatives have lost their way and they've taken our country with them. They're out of alignment with the American people, but more importantly, they're out of alignment with the Constitution and the Christian values that founded our nation 250 years ago. My opponent's vote for the minibus this week only goes to prove just how out of touch Representative Baird is with the American people and you, the citizens of the 4th Congressional District. Regarding question 2, as for my approach to governance, first let me say, I will not maintain a home in the DC area. I plan to return to the district every week to maintain contact with those that I represent. Moreover, I do a weekly town hall digitally. I will maintain that weekly town hall from the office in Congress to keep in touch with the people of the 4th District. Unlike my opponent, I'll have 2 or 3 offices across the district where I will be able to meet with and discuss the issues and concerns of you, the constituents, not lobbyists and PACs in Washington, D.C. The 4th District is my home, and that's who I'll represent. And the most effective and efficient way to do that is to be in the district as much as possible. Over the last 3 years, I've been doing the job I am now asking you to give me. I've traveled the state and the district working to get citizens involved in local government, from precinct committeemen all the way up to Congress, and we've helped hundreds of people access the ballot, file for and run for public office, and more. I'm a firm believer that before you ask for the job, you must have already been doing the job. That's why for the last 3 years, I've been working tirelessly as a coach to those that want to be an active participant in the solution. My mission is to be a representative that not only actively works with the constituents of the 4th District, but also shows them how they can personally engage in the legislative process, including negotiations.
Thank you, Charles, I'm going to go ahead and cut you off, but since you will be doing your closing remarks next, go ahead and you can finish your statements, and you have 3 more minutes.
That's okay. We'll just go to the
for
closing remarks. All right. Although it may sound like it by the tone of my voice, our nation is not lost. Our nation is not lost. And if you believe that the way I believe in, you're always going to be white-pilled. We simply have lost our way. And how do we get back to the right way, the right path? I have some ideas. We close the border immediately. We stop the out-of-control spending immediately. We don't vote yes on minibus, omnibus bills, continuing resolutions like our congressman just did yesterday. We remove the legal immunity that vaccine manufacturers have for products that kill or injure people. We stop funding proxy wars, war after war that spills our blood and treasure and enriches only a few. I saw it firsthand, multiple combat deployments. We don't allow high-ranking of government officials or military officers to lobby elected officials for a minimum of 10 years. We use the power of the purse, Congress' responsibility, to punish those rogue agencies, not reward them with additional funding. And we investigate and hold accountable those who have leveraged their government positions for personal gain. Look around you. It's happening all over, and we know it. The battle we face today is one of that of being a good neighbor versus that of being a good citizen. Good neighbors treat each other as peers. Good citizens treat each other according to an official status. Good neighbors insource their ethics. Good citizens outsource their ethics in compliance with commands of rulers and enforcers. Good neighbors consent. Good citizens conform. So if you're tired of the status quo, I'm asking for your support. If you're tired of the go along to get along DC mentality, then I'm asking for your support. If you're tired of being over-legislated and underrepresented, I humbly, Charles Bookwalter, am asking for your support and for your vote on May 7th to be your loud and good neighbor in Washington, D.C. Now, if I have a few more minutes, I got 30 seconds, I'll tell you. Again, we do a weekly digital town hall to answer questions that you may have. I do live town halls. I've done 2 this week. We're all over the district. I'm not afraid of these positions that I have, and I'm very transparent in my issues. I don't check the pulse to see where we stand on these issues. I'm very transparent. I ask you, go to my website. You can read my letter, and you can read all the positions that I have on my website. And if you're further curious, there's a phone number on there. You can give me a call. And if I don't answer, I'll return your call and answer the questions or concerns that you may have. Thank you very much for your time tonight and for coming out and supporting all these candidates.
Thank you so
That was
much,
awesome,
Charles.
folks.
All right, John, your closing remarks.
I've been a federal whistleblower, like I said, since 2009. I've been to D.C. twice. Mike Pence, Todd Rokita, and others have denied me the right to testify, even in front of a subcommittee. I want to thank Channel 59, Channel 13, and Channel 6 for being here tonight. Tony Katz, 93.1. Oh, they didn't make it. You know why they didn't make it? Complete media blackout. They refuse to tell you the truth. I have been to every one of the networks. I've talked to everybody. Channel 8 literally sent me an email saying this outmodes our capabilities. Would you like your evidence back? Times, dates, location, Google Earth pictures of the sex trafficking in Canby. They have it all, folks. The media refuses to come here tonight. Jim Baird refused to come here tonight because he knew he was going to face Charles and myself. Jim Baird, again, I've been to his office 4 times. He is trying, and this is kind of inside politics, he is trying to get through the primary. He is going to gift the seat to his son. Jim Jordan from Ohio just came here Saturday. We went to meet Jim Jordan. They refused to allow us to speak to him. They raised funds so that he could not run for office and buy off the caucus members so that Bo Bear would be seated in his seat and never have to run for office. If you remember, Illinois Governor Blago went to prison for almost 8 years for selling Barack Obama's Senate seat. The exact same thing is happening right here in this district. On Monday, I go to DC. We present a letter with all this evidence of his age, his illness, and the fact that Craig Haggard was supposed to be in the spot. He's our state rep. He contacted a guy by the name of Ted Lebdell. Ted Lebdell called me and said Haggard got out of the race because the Republican Party downtown ordered him out so that Bo Baird could be placed in a congressional seat. That is un-American, that is illegal, and people go to prison for that. Jim Baird did not show up tonight because he is a criminal, and we have the evidence, overwhelming evidence to prove it, and I will be in D.C. talking to Democrats and Republicans. We will not allow somebody to steal your congressional seat and give it to their version of little Hunter Biden, because that's what Bo Baird is. He's a little Hunter Biden. The other thing I want to tell you, this is frightening. It's going to overwhelm you. The sex trafficking operation, the little girls are the modern day drug mule. They're the ones that bring all the drugs and the weapon systems in, little piece by piece. I know because the DEA and the FBI agents have confided in me. I saw it with my own eyes. I was talking to Charles's group Tuesday night, right here in this building. Senator Mike Young came up and he said, yes, the Senate in Indiana has just been briefed about the terrorist activity at the Plainfield Mosque. We cannot be reactive after, we have to be proactive. I want everybody to remember, after 9/11, the FBI pointed the fingers at the CIA. The CIA said the FBI had it. And then they all said, well, Bill Clinton put up this invisible wall, so no, we're not allowed to talk to each other. And what was the result? Everybody knew the terrorists are here. Everybody knew what they intended to do. But nobody was proactive. They were all reactive. I submit, as your congressman, we will be here. We'll have multiple offices. And if our governor, which the last 3, Mitch Daniels, corrupt, Mike Pence, Eric Holcomb, corrupt beyond belief, our new governor will do it, or we will put together our own teams. We're going into these mosques. They are not government
John,
entities.
I'm gonna go ahead and cut you off.
All right.
I tried to let you do the closing
Hey guys,
part.
thank
but
you.
Thank
Yeah,
you so
well,
much
real
to our
quick, one
U.S.
final
representatives
thing.
for
Everything's on my
Republican candidates.
table. We have all the evidence. My website, overwhelming. It is overwhelming. It's frightening. But all the stuff is there. Go visit my table. We'll give you everything to
I want to
take
thank both of our U.S. representatives
Thank you.
for
Thank you very
Republican
much.
candidate for being here tonight, Charles Bookwalter and John Pine.
Piper.
For U.S. Representative, they will start by introducing themselves. We have tonight Rimpi Girn and Derrick Holder. Rimpi, you will start us off with introducing yourself. You have 3 minutes.
Mic check, mic check. Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Rimpi Girn, and I am your congressional candidate in the 4th District. I am a mother of 4, including a pup. I have a 21-year-old, 19-year-old, and 11-year-old. I have 2 beautiful daughters and 1 son, and my small pup dog. My kids went to A1 school. We moved here in 1999 from India. I'm an immigrant kid. I moved here at age 18. And when I came to this country, it was hard. My first job was sweeping floors at McDonald's. We are farmers from back home. And I went to the night school to achieve my American dreams while I was working during the daytime. I started my campaign last summer. The reason why I am running because I am tired of this country being weaponized. I'm tired of our health care, our education. Everything is being weaponized in this country right now. Sorry, I gotta take a pause here. I have a successful business in Plainfield. I'm running an insurance agency. My passion is healthcare. I've been helping individuals here for past 12 years, and I'm also a licensed agent as a non-resident in other 5 states. I've been doing a health insurance for past 12 years. Medicare is my passion. Providing a healthcare is my passion, which is getting really weaponized right now. Right? Current GOP said at this legislature, they said that they have miscalculated $1 billion in Medicaid funding. How can they do that? They've been sitting and doing this for past maybe 50 years. How can you miscalculate a $1 billion when that dollars we use to provide a health care to our children, to our needy families, to our seniors who need the health insurance when they turn 65? So our country, our education, everything is being weaponized right now. I have been serving for past 12 years for the health insurance. Now, and it's my duty to pay it forward and help the people in the 4th Congressional District to succeed. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rimpi. Next, Derrick, you have 3 minutes for opening statements.
Hello, my name is Derrick Holder. I am running as your candidate for 4th Congressional District. One first things I want to say is thank you, Mr. Bookwalter, for your service. I myself am a retired Marine, no problems there. I am running because I'm sick and tired of business as usual in DC. It seems like the normal person is being completely forgotten about. Little background about me. I was born in 1980, St. Vincent Hospital, north side of Indy. I grew up most of my life in Indianapolis, northeast side, graduated Lawrence North High School. Like I said, joined the Marines right after high school, came back home afterwards. So I'm a lifelong Hoosier. I know what it's like to have Hoosier values. And Indiana and the Congress is not sticking to those Hoosier values right now. We used to care about Hoosier hospitality. Look out for the little person, not big corporations or anything like that. I work a 9-to-5 job for the state. I'm a paralegal. I know what it's like to be on $50,000 a year. I know what it's like to have 3 kids, have as she said, pups. I have 2 dogs. I have chickens. I know what it is to worry about my ground not being fertile enough to grow our little farm for sustainability. I'm a homesteader down in Martinsville. And I'm just really just looking to return Congress back to who it belongs to, and that's you, the voter, the people. I will not go for, brain fart, sorry. I will not go for special interest groups, lobbyists. I represent you. I will hold town halls, like Mr. Bookwalter said. Weekly, I will be in town as much as possible. Yeah, that's.
Thank you so much, Derrick. We will move on to the next portion, and that is your question section. Derrick, you will go first. You have 3 minutes to answer the questions. They were provided for you, but they're also on the board behind you.
Thank you. If elected, my approach to representing all constituents, not just those who align with my views. I will be grounded in open dialogue, transparency, and inclusivity. I believe that effective governance requires listening and understanding those in the diverse perspectives within our community. To achieve this, I will hold regular town halls and listening sessions, establish a constituent advisory board in every county that District 4 is in. I will also promote bipartisan collaboration and promote accessibility and transparency within the government, and engage in ongoing education and outreach efforts. By fostering an environment of respect, understanding, and cooperation, I aim to bridge divides that work towards solutions that reflect the collective best interest of our diverse community. Second question. My approach to governance is rooted in the belief that an effective leadership requires a commitment to the welfare of all constituents and a dedication to collaborative problem solving. Here's how I plan to prioritize constituents' interests and engage in legislative negotiations. Constituent-centric decision-making, data-driven policy-making, building bridges for bipartisanship, and have a transparent communication. Engage in strategic negotiation and promote advocacy and allyship, and be open to adaptability and engage in continuous learning. By prioritizing the interest of constituents, engaging in thoughtful legislative negotiation, and maintaining a commitment to transparency and bipartisanship, I am to foster the governance style that is both effective and reflective of the diverse needs of our community.
Thank you so much, Derrick. Rimpi, you now have 3 minutes to also answer those same questions.
Thank you. Once I'm elected, I will prioritize open communication channels, actively seek feedback from constituents of all viewpoints, and making decisions based on careful considerations of diverse perspective, ensuring fair representation for all. I will work tirelessly to ensure that our voices are going to be heard and concerned are addressed and solved. Thank you. That's my first question answer. Second one, my approach to engaging with the governance and navigating legislative negotiation is rooted in a commitment to prioritizing constituents' best interest, fostering constructive relationship, and advocating meaningful policies that improve the lives of people I represent through collaboration dedicated to find common grounds. I believe we can achieve positive outcomes for our communities and for our state. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You next, Rimpi, will have closing remarks. You have 3 minutes to finish that.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone coming here tonight. And thank you, our sponsors. Thank you, everyone. But it's not about me today. I want to focus not on myself, but on you, the voters. You hold the power to shape our future.
to choose a leader who will champion your concerns and aspiration in Congress. I humbly ask you for your trust and your vote, not for my sake, but for the betterment of our district and our nation. My commitment to you is unwavering. I promise to listen to your voices, to advocate tirelessly for your needs, whether it's fighting for affordable health care, advocating for quality education, rural area education is must, or championing economic opportunity for all. I will be your steadfast ally in Washington. Together, we can outcome any obstacle. Together, we can build a brighter, more inclusive future for generations to come. So I ask you to join me on this journey. Let us stand together, united in our shared vision for progress and prosperity, strength through diversity, progression through unity. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rimpi. Derrick, you now have 3 minutes for your closing remarks.
Thank you. In the heart of the Midwest, Indiana is poised at the cusp of a transformative change. Our state, rich in diversity and potential, faces critical challenges that require immediate action and bold solutions. My campaign is centered on pivotal areas where we can and must do better: education reform, agriculture, women's reproductive health, LGBTQIA+ rights, and veterans affairs. Education reform is the cornerstone of our future. Every child in Indiana deserves access to a quality education that prepares them for the challenges and opportunities ahead. We must ensure equitable funding for all schools, support our teachers, and foster environments that encourage innovation and critical thinking. Agriculture is the backbone of our state's economy. It faces unprecedented challenges. We must support our farmers with sustainable practices, innovative technologies, and policies that ensure their prosperity and the health of our land for generations to come. Women's reproductive health and LGBTQIA+ rights stand as pillars of our commitment to equality and justice. It's imperative that we protect and advance access to health care and fiercely advocate for the rights of all, ensuring that discrimination finds no harbor in our state. For our veterans, the heroes who have served our nation, we owe unwavering support ensuring access to quality health care, mental health services, and opportunities for reintegration is not just our duty, it's a reflection of our values. As we stand together, poised to embrace the dawn of a new era for Indiana, we must reflect on the promise made 248 years ago in the Declaration of Independence. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with a certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Yet this promise remains unfulfilled. How can we debate the rights of LGBTQIA+ African Americans, women, API, Latinx, and more without acknowledging that our government has faltered in its commitment to equality for all? The time for change is now, and we must not only address these disparities, but actively work to rectify them, ensuring that every Hoosier can pursue life, liberty, and happiness without hindrance. I am Derrick Holder, and I invite you to join me in realizing this promise of equality, opportunity, and justice together. Let's fulfill the pledge made centuries ago, crafting a future where every individual's rights are not just recognized, but revered. Thank you. Let us march forward together for a new dawn for Indiana. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.
Thank you to both of our Democratic candidates, Rimpi Girn and Derrick Holder. We appreciate you guys being here tonight and sharing your viewpoints. I want to make sure that we thank all of our candidates who have spoken tonight, either tonight or on Tuesday night. We have a saying in my house, you can't complain unless you're part of the change. And it's such an honor to see our candidates who are trying to help our towns, help our counties, and help our state. I also want to make sure we continue to thank those who made tonight possible: the Hendricks County Republican Party, the Hendricks County Democrats, the Republican newspaper, and Hendricks County Community Foundation. Thank you all for being here tonight. And If you have not told all your friends, they can watch this on Facebook. It is, if they'll go to the Facebook, the Hendricks County Community Foundation page, they can watch tonight's live performance, but make sure you get out and vote in the primaries on May 7th. Thank you all for being here tonight.